Okay, so one thing that we have been doing so far is we have been relaunching the app via this like run main Dart grid button, right? So what this does, it restarts the whole application. Because if we, for example, change color here from green to purple and use this yellow button, nothing will happen. So Flutter supports two modes, hot reload and hot restart. Yes, and hot reload really helps when you are developing a complex application with several pages, because if you're like 10 pages deep into your app and you want to change some color there, you don't want to be relaunching the whole app in order to see the different color, right? You want to see like straight in place. And Flutter allows this in debug mode, but only if this is all held into okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we run the app via the runApp function, right? We learned that. And in here, we have specified everything inside of runApp. And so everything is inside of runApp. And in order to actually rebuild it, we need to rerun this app. Flutter allows to extract some information into our own widgets. And then when we press the yellow Flutter hot reload button, it rebuilds those widgets in place without rerunning the app. It only rebuilds those widgets which we extract to. And this sounds harder than it is. I will show you right now. So what we will do is we will add a new file, Dart file, call it Disney movie page, just like that. Okay, Disney movie page. And this is an empty Dart file. And up to this point, we have only been using the framework widgets. So we have been using Scaffold, icon, column, and so on, everything that Flutter provides us by default. But imagine having like such a small app already takes so much space, and imagine a much bigger app, you wouldn't want to write it all inside each other, right? So you would want to compose some things into reusable widgets of your own. For that, there are two types of widgets in Flutter called stateless and stateful. Stateful, we will be looking at a bit later on, but for now, we need to think about stateless one. So let's look from example. We say class Disney movie page. Just give it a title. And usually it's a good practice if you're making widgets to make the class name the same as the file name in here. So if our file name is Disney movie page, then the widget that will be in this page will also be called Disney movie page. It's not a rule. It's not like Java where you have to have the same file name and the class name. It's not like that in Dart, but it's still a good practice so that you from a glance know what will be contained in this file. So we say class Disney movie page, extends StatelessWidget. Okay, and because it's a class, we need to give it a body with the curly braces. And now the compiler is screaming at me with the red squiggly line at the Disney movie page, right? And if I put my cursor there, it says missing concrete implementation of StatelessWidget.build. So another life hack that we can do if we are overriding something or extending something or implementing something, we can put our cursor on the title of the class that we are writing. Again, option enter, and it shows me several options. Create one missing override, make class Disney movie page abstract, or create no such method. What we want is we want the first option, create one missing override. And boom, by magic, it gives us a method. It gives us a method. It's annotated with a special word override keyword. We can see that its return type is widget. This is like really important right now because this is like the notion of Flutter. Return type is widget. method name is build, and it has one parameter called build context. For now, we will return to it many times, but for now, just note that it exists, and it has filled in with some code which we don't need. So it looks like this if we remove that code. So build method is the method that gets called every time that you run your app. And from this build method, we need to return the actual widget that needs to be drawn on the screen. And every widget has its own build method. If we, for example, go to, just watch, right? Go to the text widget that is available in the framework. We can also see that text itself, class text, extends StatelessWidget. And then if we scroll, we can see that it also has a build method, its own build method. And there's a lot of things going on in here, a lot of styling, a lot of aligning, blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that. We just need to understand that every widget in Flutter, almost every, but for now, every widget in Flutter has a build method. And in this build method is where we describe how we want this widget, this particular widget, to be built. Why it's also important. This method can be called as many times as is the refresh rate of your device. So on higher end devices, that's 120 times per second. You can imagine that if it's called 120 times per second, it should be blazing fast, right? We can't do any like big number crunching calculations in here, because if we do, it will fail to finish in those milliseconds that it has, and it will result in frame drop. And if frame drops, it means that your UI is stuttering, it's laggy, and it's really bad, and the user is really sad, and your app is deleted, and 1-star review is posted. So that's why it's crucial to remember to keep build method with as less calculations as possible. Of course, if you need to calculate a color or something like this, you can do it here, but you can be having like 1 million iteration loops and so on, doing some number crunching. Okay. So far this is so clear about this method. Okay, and now what we need to do is to actually return something from here. And what we will do is we will go back to our main Dart, and everything that we have written in the home parameter of our material app. So for us, it's starting from Scaffold. We want to copy it, Scaffold, everything inside the Scaffold. We want to cut it, go back to our Disney movie page, and now say return and paste. Okay, and you will probably see things like the method scaffold isn't defined for type Disney movie page. So in order to fix that, once again, Option and Enter is your friend. It is something that helps you in Android Studio to do any kind of comments. So Option, just Enter, and it says import library package Flutter material Dart. We do that, and everything is nice and fine again. And one last step, we go back to our main Dart, and this time in Home, we say, instead of the scaffold blah blah blah, we say Disney movie page. We create it, it has no parameter, looks nice and clean. And if we run it again, we will see that it also shows this UI. This time, if we go back to Disney movie page and, for example, change the color from purple to orange and press hot reload, it will just change just like that. See, it was much faster. It didn't relaunch the callout. Now watch again. From orange to green, yellow button, super fast. That's why we need to extract into widget, because what happens here is we don't run app function. It's not called. When we press the yellow button here, Flutter hot reload, run app is not called. What is though called is this build method. And that's why in this case, we can use hot reload, but in this case, we couldn't because we just had to run the app every time. Did you manage to extract everything to a StatelessWidget? If not, then I will help you right now, because we will need to continue from here and we will need to create another one. So I will write the instructions in chat. Oops, I'm writing it in the end. Sorry about this. I have more to do. Okay. I'm writing instructions and I will come up to you for individually and check that out. So you okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is doing and doesn't need help right now? Try. Смотри, давай инструкции отправим в чат. Первое. Создать файл, как будет называться. Скопирую прямо с вами. Только без дат, без расширения. Да. Хорошо. Вот. Удалить. А ну можешь это переименовать. Возьми его. Правда. Да. Рекомендую. Да, и теперь все правильно. Что вы сделаете? Вы теперь иди обратно в main. Все, что начинается с Scaffold, не home, Scaffold. И сам Scaffold, и вот начинается с него, за Scaffold. Вот там, где он заканчивается. Что это? Вот это. Теперь вместо throw вот это все удалить. И throw тоже удалить. Так что у тебя ошибка. Не хватает несколько моментов. Точки запятой, это самое всегда, когда мы после пункта, после вместо запятой должна быть точка запятой. Теперь import. Потому что нужно сделать import. Видишь, он подсвечивает поля. Нажми на поле какое-нибудь, которое подсвечивает option. Смотри, что он запятое. Import library. Теперь практически все. А теперь не функционально. Да, ну не просто Scaffold, а Scaffold, что ты хочешь вернуть уже. Вот, и теперь обратно передать. Удали это все, просто space и название. class. Нет, как конструктор вызываем круглый столбик. Теперь вы правы как раз. Нет, тут не нужно. Дальше следует комментарий, но это самое простое. Все хорошо? Okay, so this way we can create all kinds of stateless and in future stateful widgets and extract them into smaller and smaller or bigger and bigger widgets. This will also be helpful in performance in the future, for example, because if you only need one small piece of code of UI to rebuild, for example, this container, it doesn't make sense to rebuild the whole screen, right? You only need to rebuild that little piece. In the future, we will learn how to do that too. Okay, to как закрепить in English, how do you say? Okay, just to train the muscle memory, let's create one more page and call it Disney movie list page. Because now we will be working with lists. And create a new class that also extends the StatelessWidget called Disney movie list page. Which also extends the StatelessWidget. Widget. And if we press open enter, create one missing override, and we have the build method. Okay, please do this for now. It's exactly the same thing as we did with the previous widget, but call it Disney movie list page and not just page, and don't return anything from the build method. We will get it. And write in chat plus sign when you're done, so that I know that. This is exactly the same thing as we did previously. We just call it Disney movie list page instead of just Disney. Okay. And don't run anything because nothing has changed. We didn't do anything with this page yet. Okay. Все в порядке? Все в порядке? Пишем плюс знак в чат, окей, в Slack. Вот как Валда сегодня сделал, я понимала, то так могу сидеть, вечно ждать. Okay, so up to this point, we have worked only with different kind of items. So it's not like a list of homogeneous items. It's all kind of different widgets, right? Images, containers, text, and so on. But what if we want to have a list of same items, right? It's a really common thing. For example, if you want a shopping app and you want to see a list of products and so on, or if it's a book app and you want to see a list of books and so on. So it's a really common way. So that's what we will learn to do now. But first of all, let's go back to main Dart, and instead of Disney movie page, we will return Disney movie list page. Just change to the other widgets that we have just created. And in the Disney movie list page, let's just return a scaffold, just a scaffold for now. Oops. Also, you will see a lot of yellow squiggly lines. That's okay for now, but from tomorrow or Wednesday, I will see how we will go. We will start also taking a look at this. And if you run it, we should see a white screen. Is that true for everyone? Okay. Yes, return a scaffold from here. Like remove everything inside the build method. Yes. Return. And just a scaffold. Yes. Empty like that. And GestureDetector. Окей. Тут его нужно заимпортить. Нажимаем левой кнопкой Option и правой Enter. Не знаю, почему я выбрала. И правильно, да, импорт делаем. Вторая. Вот это. Да. Все хорошо. And as we already used to, let's give it an AppBar, just so that so it's not just super empty. AppBar, you can copy it from your previous one and give it a title of Disney movies. You can copy the same thing that you had in your Disney movie page. Okay? And if you press hot reload, it should also reload automatically without you needing to restart the app. Hot reload is this yellow lightning button at the top. Are we good? Everyone's done? Okay. So what's up? On your side, all good? Okay, cool. Now let's give it a home parameter again. And this time, this home parameter will be a new widget that we haven't worked with previously called, not home, I'm sorry, it's called body. A new parameter, a new widget called ListView. Just like that. And if we hot reload, then nothing changes, right? Just do it like that. Nothing changes. That's right, because we have given it an empty list. There's no widgets or anything. But let's now fill it in. And the same way, like column had parameter children, row had parameter children, any other kind of view that has multiple children will have parameter children with the list. So let's write, children. This. And let's give it, for example, 3 text below and stitch. And I will copy this and say the Lion King and a Little Mermaid. Okay, 3 texts for now will be enough, just like that, one after another. And if we hot reload it, we will see that we have 3 texts, right? So good so far? So far, so good. Okay, then now you can just watch. Now, if I just copy and paste this a lot of times, it's just a demo. I will see that I have a scrolling list on my device, right? I have a scrolling list, but again, I have pasted like a million of text widgets. Probably this is not how I would want to build a homogeneous list, right? I would want to give it some kind of builder that knows how to take parameter and turn them into a widget of the same type, right? And we have just that. So if I'll remove again all text, I can again go back to my just list view, just like that. And ListView has a special constructor called builder. So if you press dot, give it to builder. And this builder wants a parameter called item builder, which accepts two parameters, context and index. I'll write it out, you just watch, and then you will copy this so that you also have it. So let's take a closer look at this function. So this parameter. The name of this parameter is item builder, and it accepts two parameter, context. For now, we don't need to care about context, and index, meaning that it gives us the index of the item of the list that it wants to build currently. So, for example, if we have a list here, final numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I want to turn this list of numbers into a list of text, right? So first thing that I will do is I will get my item, for example, final item, and I will take numbers from the index that passed in here, right? Same index in here. I'm accessing this item, and I want to return a text that has this item as text. So, okay, so it will be returned text. And I want to say item, but because item is an int, it will scream at me. And remember how we did concatenation, we will do just $sign and item, okay? And one last thing that we are left to do is to tell the ListView builder how many items it will have. And for this, beside the item builder parameter, it also has an item count parameter, and we can say numbers length. And if we run this now, I'll see, okay, I'll just make this bigger. I'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay, so for 10 widgets, for 10 same widgets, just a little piece of code. Right? Now, please copy that so that you can also run those 10 texts, show those 10 texts. All of the code that you need is on the screen, but I will also copy it to the Slack channel so that you can. I recommend typing it out instead of just copying, so you can watch and type it. Watch and type it, not just copy paste it, but watch and type it. Okay, because this way you train your hands to actually type out stuff like this. Okay. And if you can't really see from the screen, I've pasted the very same code to Slack channel, but again, not copy paste, but type it out. Okay. And in chat, write $sign. Sorry. But you still have this code stack. You do? Kids? What is? Okay, I didn't have one. No, to time. Okay. So for now we have done just a simple text, but we will be building a list of movie items. And for that, we once again want to create something more interesting than just text. And we will extract this into another stateless widget. So let's create a new file, call it Disney movie list item view. Disney movie list item view. And once again, it's a stateless class, stateless widget class. Disney movie list item view. Which extends StatelessWidget. And override the build method. Okay, everyone's good. So for sure. Okay, so from here we want to return a text. But we don't want to return the same text every time, right? We want to return the text of this, the title of this movie. So what we will do is something new, which we haven't done before with widgets, is we will create a parameter that we will pass it. And what we want for now is just a string called title. So we will say final string title like this. And if we make something final and non-nullable, then we need to pass it in the constructor. So we will say const constructor. This name will be list item view like this. And remember how we passed required parameters into a function. The same way we can pass them into a constructor and say required this title. It will also scream at you about keys. We will return to keys a bit later on. For now, just like this. And write in plus sign in chat when you're done with this. And also, yeah, you can go ahead and in text write title like this so that it returns you a title instead of just an empty text. Okay, cool. Then we go back to our Disney movie list page. And instead of text, we want to pass our Disney movie list item view. List item view. And say that our title will be this item. For now, it's also still a number, and UI-wise, nothing will change, but we will come here soon. If we run our app, we see the same thing. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so far. So what we want is we want to build a UI like this. So let's take a look at what kind of information do we need. First of all, for each item, we need an image, right? A URL to an image. Then we need a title. We need a description. And we also need a rating, right? So 4 items that we need, which information that varies from item to item, okay? So we will need to create a model that models those fields, okay? It's not a widget because it's just a data class that contains information. So let's create a new file called Disney movie, just Disney movie like this. And this time it will be a class Disney movie, which doesn't extend anything. And we want field title. We want field description. We want field image URL. And we want a double rating. And just for future to remember to always do that, we will also want something that distinguishes our movie completely, which will be just a string called ID. Okay, it's a good practice to give IDs to every. I'll go away. Pilot, stop it. So those are the fields that we want to have every time in our movie: ID, title, description, image URL, and rating. And because we want those fields to be final and non-nullable, we need to pass them in the constructor as we did previously. And it will look like this. Const, so that we can create const files, const classes. We will also return to const classes sometime in the future. For now, just remember that if you can start with a const, give a title the same as the class, because we are creating the constructor to create an object of this class. And in curly braces, meaning that our parameters will be all named, make them also required, and pass this so that it fills in this instances fields. And write plus sign in chat, please. For me, it's GitHub Copilot, which knows which code I'm going to write. So I don't waste time. Oh, my Mac will sleep soon. So that I don't waste time and you don't waste time, so that you can just watch it, because my typing isn't what you're learning from. It's from your typing you're learning from. I write all of the code beforehand at home, of course. And then Copilot remembers that I have written it at some point, and then it just gives me suggestions. Not always correct. If you don't know, GitHub Copilot is a AI assistance tool from GitHub, which gives you AI suggestions for code completion. It learns from code that you write in your ID, but if you check a box to not send this code anywhere, then it stays on your code. It's paid, but for some people it's free. Like if you're an open source contributor, which for some reason considers me an open source contributor. I mean, I have some open source libraries, but not libraries, but my apps, but they're not that popular, but they still gave it to me. Otherwise, it's I think $10 per month. Yeah, and for mundane things, especially for creating constructors and stuff like that, which you don't want to be typing all of the time, it's really good. For more complex things, not always, not really. For unit tests, also can be good. So it's nice to have it, but I would not say that it's essential. But I believe that at some point in the future, it will be really, really good. Okay, Valentin Seegers, how are you doing? Need any help? All good? Okay, all good. Смотри, как взять этот класс. По буквам. Как называется тот класс? Должен совпадать один к одному. Видишь, конечно. Вот прям возьми, скопируй, вставляй тут. Вот, okay, so we have a model. And the next thing that I will send you, because this doesn't make any sense of typing, is a list of those movies so that you can just copy paste. So create a file called movies.dart. Movies.dart. And paste the code that I give to you in chat. Just like with this one, copy paste, you don't need to type it out. And you will need to do some fixes because in my original version I had a string of rating. But you know what? Let's not edit this file, but go back to Disney movie file. And instead of making the rating a double, let's just keep it a string for now. So all good for everyone? Yes. Тебя? Так, запоминай. А ты скопировал все. Ладно, пробуй еще раз скопируй, чтобы не на самом деле. And I will send the image into chat, which will be trying to recreate. I will start with you, and then you will continue with recreating. Okay, so now what we want to do is in our Disney movie list item view, we don't want just a string. We want the whole Disney movie object because there will be an image and description and so on. So we pass final Disney movie. And let's also import it. And instead of title, let's call it just movie. Okay. And then in text, instead of movie, we will print it out the movie text. ListView then. Okay. Все окей? Нужна помощь? Так. Так, да, там. Okay, and now going back to our Disney movie list page, you should have an error here, the one that you all have, as I see. And because we are supplying the parameter title, to know what title is, we need to first of all change it to what was it called, movie. And because movie is not a string, but a Disney movie object, this time we will access the item not from the numbers list, but by importing those movies lists that I gave you and that you have in your movies.dart file. Okay, and now we just pass item as item and not as a string. And an item count, we also need to make sure that we change the list that we are reading from to movies. Okay, so to recap what we did. First of all, we are accessing item by index in our movie array that we have in our movies.dart file, which we copied from chat. We are passing this movie as a parameter to our Disney movie list item view. And to make sure that the item count is correct and that there is no index out of bound exception, we need to tell our ListView.builder that item count is movies.length. Any questions about this? Any doubts? Yes. Let's see. Movies, and we need to import it. Option. Yes. Yes. Okay. And also one more place where you didn't change it is item count. Find the item count parameter of the list view. You are an item builder and there's item count, and we want not movies, well, not numbers, but movies. Okay, and now let's run it. And we should see a list of text of the titles of the movies that we passed, correct? For everyone? Okay, this doesn't really look that beautiful, so we want to style it. And rest of the work will be done in the Disney movie list item view. And here, instead of the text, we will be constructing like a more complex view. So I will help you. Let's start and first analyze how does it look like. We see that we have an image here, followed by some text, followed by more text, followed by icon, right? So in what kind of widget can we put so that we have horizontally aligned widgets? Okay, good. Row. So each of these list items will be a row, right? Initially. So that we have image, text, text, and icon. Okay, this one is obvious, right? This is an icon. But in here, we have one text and another text. So how can we do that? They're two different texts. Column. Okay, that's good. And that's pretty much it. But what can we use for this little widget here? Okay, and this will also be a text, and this. Okay, image network, yes. So let's try and do this together, which we just is it clear for everyone why is it a row, why is it a column? You good? Ну, да, ну то есть row это просто способ нам выложить горизонтально друг за дружкой несколько view. И вот мы можем комбинировать ряды и колонки как угодно, то есть они могут быть очень комплексные и вложенные, чтобы у нас вот это все один ряд, но внутри него есть колонка. И представь, что здесь еще, например, 3 иконки было бы в ряд, это был бы еще один ряд внутри. И вот таким образом колонки и ряды можно комбинировать в более комплексные view. Потом посмотрим еще и другие виджеты, помимо колонок или рядов. Но в целом это вот прям такие stable framework. Okay, let's start. I will give you a skeleton, which we will do together, but then you will also need to do some of your own work. And there are caveats, which might not be seen from the beginning, but will be seen well once we start implementing. So what we want now is a row, right? In Disney movie list item view. And we want to give it children. And as we discussed, we have image.network. And as a parameter, we can pass movie image URL. And then for now, before wrapping it all into a column, let's make it just one text, just text title. Yeah, this. And now let's run it and see what we have. And we have what we have. How many pixels overflow? 1081 pixel overflow. Is that correct? Well, okay, it depends on the emulator and the image that you're using. I mean, it should be probably Willow and Stitch, the one. So that's the problem with rows and columns. We will see how to solve them also, but they can overflow. So your row and your column is limited to the space that is your device. It is not a scrollable view. It is limited to your device. And there are many, many ways how to fix errors like this. At first, let's start by giving our image network a size. So we will give it a size, for example, of 120 logical pixels. So when I write 120, it's logical pixels. So they depend on the device density, pixel density, and so on. So it's safe to use them as logical pixels and not as true pixels. Okay, this has fixed a little. So now that it's now it looks a bit, all of the images look different. I mean, I think Lilo and Stitch is like this square, but the other ones are more rectangular. So what we can do is make sure that I think it's lost me. Oh no, okay, you can see it now, right? That Lilo and Stitch is a rectangle, is a square one, but all of the other one a rectangular one and a different shape. So what we can do is to give also a parameter called fit to the image.network. And this is where we describe how should the image look like depending on the width and height. So let's see different types of box fits. We can use cover, for example, and see what happens now. Okay, and we can see that all of the images are now the same size, but for those widgets for which height is bigger than fitting into the square shape, it just gets cut. Okay, do you see what I'm talking about? Okay, we can also use fit width and see what happens. And in this case, it's the same thing because it fills the width of 120 pixels and everything else keeps the aspect ratio of the original image. But we can also do fit height. And now we can see that height takes the 120 pixels and width is that size of which the image should stay to keep the aspect ratio of the picture. Okay. And let's keep it to cover like this so that they're all homogeneous and look the same. And now let's maybe give a row a little padding. So we will wrap a row with a padding. And let's just keep the edge pixel, the all edge insets to 8 pixels. So that looks a little bit padded. Okay, and now what if we go back to our image, we can see that we have title and descriptions in a column, right? So what we want to do is we want to wrap our text with a column like this. And let's just run it to see that everything is okay.
In the row, we're putting column, right?
Yes, in the row on top of text, we are putting column. We can do that as many times if we want. We can combine them to have all kinds of shapes and all kinds of layouts. So it's really flexible. And on the next line, just add another text, which will be movie description. And what we see is overflow, right? Once again, we see overflow because what this widget tries to do is to try to put the long lines of description into one line, and it doesn't have enough space. So there's a couple of things we could do and we need to do. First of all, we can wrap our column into an expanded, wrap with widget, expand it, and see what happens here. Yes, I'll remove it again. So if we run column, we'll see that the text tries to go into one line, and because it's a really, really long text, it goes out of bounds, right? We see the problem. Mm-hmm. So remember how we used expanded to make a red rectangle fill all of the screen? Mm-hmm. Remember how we used expanded in our previous app with the cat image? Okay, let me. It's okay. Let's run that one once again. Disable page where. Okay, so if I remove the green container now, and we'll run it. And also I will remove the image to think to be better to see. So, and if I keep the container just like that, for example, height 200. Now look, we have a column. It has a hey text here at the top with a padding. Right underneath, it has a container with a height 200 and the red color. So we have specifically told it that its height will be 200. And then we have a text. But what if we want to do the following? We want to lay out our hey text and their text, and we want the red container to fill up all of the rest of the space. We don't know what is the rest of the space. There can be many other widgets, and we don't know how to calculate that. For that, inside a column, we can wrap any widget in a special widget called expanded. So I say wrap with widget. This widget will be expanded. And what this widget does is it expands to fill all of the available space after it has laid out the widgets that are not expanded. Because if I have another expanded widget and give it a green color, it will share the space that is left between them. Okay, I think there's also a flex factor. Yes, for example, I want to say the default one is 1. But what if I want to make this flex 1 and this flex 2? Do you know what will happen? Any ideas? Okay. See what happens. So of all of the space that is left, it is split into 3 because 1 plus 2 equals 3 pieces, and 2 goes to the green container and 1 goes to the red container. Not priority, but okay, let's say I want this as 4. See, it has become even bigger because if we split all of the space that is available from here to the end into 5 same pieces, then we give 4 to the green container and 1 to the red container. So flexible, there's also flexible, but it's a bit more complex, but expanded we'll be using a lot. So it's useful not only to fill in with containers of color like that, but also if it wants to just fill in all of the space that is left, which is our case for the movies list. Let me just quickly run it again. So going back to our Disney movie list item view, I have a column with 2 texts, and this column doesn't know that it has any bounds. It tries to put the text, like the text with movie description, tries to lay out all of the text that it has into one line. And a way for us to tell it that it should be expanded, so that it should go only fill in the space that it has, we should wrap the column into expanded. And let's see what happens. I did the column that has all both widgets.
The first one.
There is one column. Just have one column. Oh, yes, but with row. Oh no, stop, not with column, but with expanded. So you don't have expanded. That's why you need to wrap it with just widget, the very first one. Yes, and then rename the widgets to expanded.
So basically, expanded works well. It shrinks and expands area.
It uses all of the space that is here and it expands to it because there is a way for us to overclose it. We can make the description text even longer and it won't fit into those vertices. So yeah, there can be like this overflow issue, this black and yellow thing that you see often, you will see often. I promise you that this is not the last time you have seen it, especially when we start working with scroll views. This will be our best friend because it's really easy to overflow something, and it takes a bit of experience and thinking in widgets to understand how to make a review, for example, scrollable, but show all of the information. It's a bit like a logical game, and sometimes it takes just experiments, because I don't even always remember all of the rules of layouting, and I need to experiment. All right, so a couple of more things. First thing is that we want everything aligned on the left like this. The Lilo and Stitch title and the Lilo and Stitch description, we want it aligned on the left. And any ideas how we would do that?
Maybe X.
Cool. Okay, yes, that's correct thinking. So we have a column of movie title and movie description, right? First of all, so that things become more clear, let's experiment with one thing. We see that for us, it seems like Lilo and Stitch title is centered, but Lilo and Stitch description is aligned on the left, right? This isn't really like that. This is another alignment. This is the text alignment itself. So if we go, you don't have to write it, but you can just watch it for now. What was the parameter? Text. Yes, text line, thank you. So text. Start, for example, for the title. And we rerun it. Yes, it will stay the same because it expands to the, I keep forgetting this, because it expands to the full screen, and the alignment of the column is also center, but it's okay. I forgot about one thing, so it didn't show what I expected it to show, but it's correct that it didn't show, of course. So let's go back to our column. Forget about for the text alignment right now. We will return to it. Go back to column and use, for example, okay. We want a couple of things. First, we want it to be aligned from the top, for now, from the top. So our main axis alignment of the column, main axis alignment, will be start. So start for the column is the top. Start for the row is left. And for the column is bottom, and for the row is right. This is something to keep in mind, because parameters for column and row are the same, but they're opposite once opposite direction. Okay, I'll just click use whiteboard. Column. You want to select. This is which axis? Okay. Okay. Where is the start for main axis? Oh. Start for main axis, we're going from top to bottom, always. And where is the end for main axis? What is this code?
Oops.
Okay, cross line. And where is start for cross axis? And the end. Does this make it a little bit clearer for the column?
Yes,
Let's do this for the row. One, two, three, axis. What is this axis?
Main.
This little thing. What is it? Here. Okay, so visual is somewhat like this. Does it make more sense now? So
Yes.
it's like they are opposites. They do the same thing in opposite direction. So that's why when we are working with a column, we're thinking about this is main, this is cross, and when we're working with the row, this is main, this is cross. Okay. And now going back to our column, what do we want as our main axis alignment? Yeah, yes, but main axis alignment, should it be start or end? Okay, let's try it with start and see what happens.
Why are you playing in the column?
We have both in here. We have a column and a row.
Well, I also think we will use a cross to make split and this one below.
Let's see. What happened?
Text.
Yes, let's go back. Let's remove this. So we can see that the text is in the center, right? This one is in the center and this one is in the center. If the description was much shorter, for example, a short description, it will also be in the center. That's why it might be a little bit confusing with the long description because it fills in all of the space that it has. But when it's a short description, we can see that they're both in the center. And main axis alignment is where they are in the center between here. This is the start of the image. This is the end of the image. So this is the main axis of the column, right? It is as high as the image for now because this is the biggest view. And what was I saying? This was the main axis alignment, right? And we currently have it as start. Why do we have it as start? Okay, because expanded messes up a little bit with this. If we did not have expanded, this will also be at the start, right? Let's just check that I'm not lying to you because I might be. I'm already getting confused myself. So let's just check it. It's always a good idea to check. Yes, so now it's working differently. I'm confusing everyone, right? I'm sorry. Let's just go back to our expanded and work with it because this is what we will need to be doing. And let's try with cross-axis alignment and see what happens. Start, center, end, right? So cross-axis, horizontally, it goes from start. If we go to end instead of start, it will move to the right. And if we go to the center, it will stay in the center. Okay, cross-axis, everything is clear so far, right? So let's keep it on the start.
And default, like value.
The center. Yeah, if you go to the constructor and see that main axis alignment is default, what is okay, it's start. It's a bit because it's inherits from the flex widget. Yeah, the main axis is start, but the cross axis is center, I believe, right? Let me quickly check this again. This name will be list item view, cross axis column. And we will see where it goes to start, and cross-axis is center, and vertical direction is down. And there's also main axis size, which is max by default, which is also a parameter that we haven't looked at, but is also important. Which won't work with the next one, which work for it. Okay, let's try main axis size, and let's make it so far as minimal. And nothing changes, right? Because it's expanded. Okay, and if we remove this from expanded, so main axis alignment is start anyway. So now it is impacted by the row because it is inside the row. When it's like this, it is impacted by the row. So let's add another widget so it's more clear. I understand what the issue is right now. Let's add another widget, the icon one. Remember, we have an icon with a star in here. Let's add this icon to see where we're going at. Okay, so icon, and we'll give it icons star. There's such an icon, right? There is, and give it size 24. So for now, the main axis alignment of the row is what? Main axis alignment of this row. Take a look at the image, at the text, and the icon. Yes, it is centered, right? It is all centered. Oh no, this is start, but yes, you're right. Main axis is start, right? Main axis alignment. If we now put this as start, nothing should change. Right? Nothing changes. If we put this to end, what will happen? Yes, everything has moved to the right. And if we put it to center, it will be all centered. Fun part happens when we wrap the column into expanded. What will happen?
The middle part will take all the space and it's like stretch on both sides.
Okay. And this is what happened, right? We have aligned the image, which is 100 by 100, 120 by 120. That's all space that it gets. We have an icon, which is just 24 pixels. That is all space that it gets. And then all of the rest space that is left in the row on the screen is expanded by the column. And this time, if we change our movie description to the full description and have it in multiple lines, it will take like all of the space and go to the next line, like this. I know this is like playing with the brain. Even for myself, I sometimes get lost and need to actually lay it out and to configure it in my head to understand what's going on. This is fine. This will happen to you also many, many times, which will confuse you, and it will also overflow and so on. Many things happening here. I will also send you a documentation where it has like 35 cases of different behavior with constraints and expanded and containers and centers and so on, because it takes some time to wrap your head around it. All right. Let's once again let's see what happens if we put a spacer here. Any idea?
Still be like the size will be the size of the picture. Basically, the container will be like next.
Mm-hmm.
And
And something went wrong, right? something went terribly wrong, and if we go to our run tab like this, we will see a big error, really big error that says render flex children have non-zero flex, but incoming height constraints are unbounded. So the thing is, expanded gives like, it doesn't know anything about the height, so it gives it unbounded height. There's no limits to the height. We were visually limited just by this image, but if we would make, for example, movie description much longer, let me show this so that I'm more visual than text. Let's make something really big. This new movie list I didn't do it. So instead of movie description, it conveniently is all not menu lines, but if we do it like this, see what happens. It seemed like it was bound between the height of the image, but it wasn't actually. It's just showed everything that it had, and it looks like it was in between. In reality, it will take as much space as it needs in order to lay itself out. And this is because of the expanded, because if we don't have expanded, then it will overflow and we will see that horizontal overflow error. But if we try to add a spacer here, we are telling to a view that it doesn't have any bounds vertically, right? We can make it as big as we want. We can make it even bigger. It will grow even bigger. And we are telling it now insert some space that will fill in all of the rest of the space. But it doesn't understand what means the rest of the space because it can take as much as you can. That's a mindfuck, I know, but it's easier to see with examples. But when you have unbounded height vertically, which means if you're using an expanded, you can't give it another child without unlimiting its height or width if we're talking about the row. So this was just a demo. You won't have such bad cases in your UIs for now. So let's return.
We would wrap that on row.
Yes.
Container. Set like height and
okay, let's see. Let's say we have height of 200, for example, right? First of all, this, but let's return the really long description. Okay. See what happens. This is what will happen. Because we said to the row that its maximum height is 200, expanded does have maximum height of 200, but because its child doesn't know anything about those constraints, it still tries to lay itself out, and we get the bottom overflow error. So that's why it's really important to look at your constraints. And if you see this in your debug views, you need to fix this, because in production, in release builds, this will be either gray boxes or it won't show up at all and we will have broken UI. So this needs to be fixed when you see anything like this in your logcat here, or this big black and yellow warning on the right. All right, so removing this. Removing container. Let's go back to our view like this. And what did we want to do? What did I want to do? Okay, we haven't really used many site boxes, but they're really convenient because we don't want the code, the text to be stick like this to the image. And we can, instead of wrapping it all into a padding, we can give this small little widget called size box after the image. So sized box, and we will give it a width of 16, for example. And if we run it, we will see this little width of 16 added in here.
What's on the box?
It's just puts a box of the size that you specify it, without any colors, without any, just space. So if, yeah. So it's a box with the size that you give it. But if we want to make sure, for example, that the text it doesn't like overflow and doesn't give us like doesn't become bigger than the picture. Let's say we know that the picture height is 120 and we can see like visually that it fits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of description, right? And then if it goes to 6 probably will be also okay, but it will be really bound to the image height. And when we add styling, it won't fit. So what we can do is we can go to the text movie description and give it a couple of parameters. First, we can give it a parameter called maximum lines, max lines. And let's say we want it to be 3. And another thing that we want to tell is if the maximum length is reached and there is still text left, how do we want to show it visually? And this part is called overflow. So if the text overflows, then we want to show it with 3 dots, for example. And 3 dots in this terminology is called ellipses. And if we run it, we will see that after the 3rd line, we see like 3 dots and it's get cut off. It's usually a good idea to limit maximum length because otherwise overflow errors are bound to happen. Okay, is everything kind of clear so far? Okay, then I can leave you to try and style it to look like this. But I assume you will have problems with the image because you see that it has corners like this. And what would be your initial thought? What would we do with it? Remember, we already did cornered, like corners with radius in our previous image. How did we do that?
Border radius,
Yes, of what?
decoration, of decoration,
Yes, of what?
full container.
Of the container. Right, so the initial thought would probably be to wrap our image network with the container. Okay, let's try and do that. Give it a box decoration, just decoration of type box decoration. And give it, yeah, you can watch for now. I know that not all of you managed to finish it. I will come to you and show this, and you will also do this at home. So don't worry. For the radius circular, for example, and we will give it 16. And what will happen if we run it? Nothing will change. Because this is giving radius to the container itself, but the image, it doesn't care about it. So in case of an image, we need to do not for the, like, the container itself will have rounded borders. So if we have like it says, actually, no, what I will show you. I will give it padding. 16 and color to the container. Pink. What do you not like? Correction. And you don't like what? What is happening? Okay. Right. Of decoration for the radius circular. All good. Compiling. Okay, thank you. And change it. All 8. Okay, everything was something was up. I can see that the container itself has rounded corners, right? But the image doesn't. So this way we give rounded corners only to the container, but we want to give those rounded corners to the image. And we could do this not by using the container, but by using a special widget called clip rect. And what this does is it clips the image. So it clips the image according to what we pass it. And what we can do is we can pass it parameter. It has a parameter called border radius. And we can say border radius dot circular, 8, for example. And if we run it, we should see corners, like rounded corners. Fun fact, this whole border radius syntax might be confusing, and there's a Flutter dev rel who's like super Flutter person working on the Flutter team. He says, every time I have to Google how to write a border radius, because with all of the parameters, with the radius and the border and the decoration, especially when it's container, because in here we can just specify border radius, but with the container it has like a lot of text, so it's okay if you feel lost and Google it. So don't worry about that. Okay, now we need to make sure that you have this. So if you don't, please tell me. If you don't have rounded corners, please let me know and I will come to you and I will help. Super. Те, кто закончил, могут попытаться стилизовать. Сейчас мы закончим и кое-что попробуем еще с GitHub, то, что я говорила в начале занятия. Про pull реквесты. Нет, как Кого поменять? Попробуй параметр color. Да. A couple of things that I want to also show you is widget. Okay, so I will send you a link and you will find all of the descriptions of all of the widgets that you have in here, but also this is like documentation, the actual documentation of the code, but it's also a really good resource done by the Flutter. I will share everything today, don't worry, which shows you all kinds of widgets, for example, container, column, what we have used. And if you open this page, it will give you all kinds of examples. And also good videos explaining like unbounded height, right? We also saw this, the unbounded height and width, and there's a special Flutter video from the Flutter team addressing this issue because it is so common. Okay, at home, you will need to do a similar app to this one. It will be called Cat Sanctuary. I will give you tickets in here as usual. And you will also need to recreate all of this UI so that you get even more and more muscle memory of creating Flutter widgets. And tomorrow we will take a look at some other widgets and also how to work with design systems. If you can, please finish this also at home. I will also write it down. And for now, what I wanted to show you is pull requests. So let me open my learning Dart. So I will just commit everything. And I will.
What means amend?
Amend just adds to the previous. Yeah. To this one. Like it adds something to this commit. I rarely use it. So yeah, I don't know, maybe like if you have a typo or something like this, like super small and you wanted to amend it to the previous commit, you can use that. Okay, what I wanted is to go to GitHub and to open, for example, okay, well, this I will show on your example, okay?
Yeah, sure.
What is autofollow?
Because I didn't understand it.
Yes, I know.
Wow.
Okay, which one? Which one of the this one? So, first thing, this was for everyone. So you have created a branch from main, right? So the first branch was homework 2. So we have main here, and you have created homework 2 from main branch. Then from homework 2, you have created the branch homework 2, task 7, task 8, right? Or have you also created from main?
I thought that I created for main, but it looks like.
Yes, let's take a look at what happens. The first one is okay. Like the first task is fine. We have main, we have homework 2, we have one commit, and then more commits in here in this branch. But what the fun happens when we go to this one, and if we edit it once more and put it as main as it was initially, it was the same for everyone. Everyone has this. I can see all of the commits that were also in the previous branch, right? So all of the commits that are both in homework 2 and in homework 2, not homework 2, but the homework 2 task. Wait, which one was it? I messed something up, right? So it was this one, homework 2. And I can see commits here, homework 2, task 1 to task 5, homework 2, task 6, homework 2, task 7, 8, task 6 update, and there's more in here. And if I go to this one, I will also see all of them, right? All of those commits and also what the new commit.
Those are not related.
Yes, those are not related. And The reason is because this branch is probably created from that previous branch. It contains all of the commits from the previous branch, but all of those commits are not present in the main branch. So if we want to merge this branch to the main branch, it will show you all of the commits that goes to all of the parent branches of this branch that are not present in the main. So if you create a branch from another branch, then the base branch should be that branch from which you have created it, right? So in this case, it's not main. Let's go back to make sure what was that branch. Take a look at it. Where are you? Internet, please work. Thank you. So the branch is homework 2. So if we go back to our this one, oh, I think you have merged some branches, right? Yeah. So the thing is that could be merged, so it won't be a super example, but it should clean up some of the commits. Right now, I have changed the base branch to homework 2, and I have only one commit here. And this way, I have only 77 lines to review. Otherwise, if I have this as main, I will have 172 lines to review. And that is not the worst part. The thing is that I have already reviewed those lines in the previous pull request. Okay, so that's why the base branch should be the one that you have created this branch from. Okay, does this make sense? So I have main branch. I have created branch homework 2 from main branch, and I have created homework 3 from homework 2. And I want to open 2 pull requests. I opened the first one, homework 2, to main branch, but then I opened homework 3 to homework 2, not to the main branch. Yes, from yes, not from main. Yes, and then it's I will write it down. You will remember. It's again, those are the things that at first sound confusing, but when you do them 10 times, they become automatic. And the thing that GitHub does is, if I now, okay, I have requested changes, so I won't be able to do this. But now, if I merge this branch and I delete this homework 2 branch, delete it. It's okay to do this. Please do this. Like delete branches after you merge pull requests. GitHub automatically, all of the pull requests that were based against this branch, like in here, will switch to main, and you won't need to do anything. So it will be like one by one, merging into main one by one, and GitHub will be automatically switching it to main, and I won't need to review the commits that I have already reviewed.
Okay, basically, I guess understand. So basically, if you approve this before the first one, this will be merged to that the first one. Anyways, and then it will be merged to main.
Yes. Yes. This is how it works. Like.
Okay. Yeah.
One thing that you can do is create branches from main. So if you create a branch from main and not from the previous branch, then you can open it against main, and you can have several pull requests against main. Thing to remember here is to open it against the branch from which like you have created it. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to mention, Arthur is like, what the hell, the first day, Monday, so complicated with all those things. You'll get used to it, because we spent a whole day on Wednesday just opening pull requests and committing, so that's why it's a bit easier, but you'll get used to it after opening 10 pull requests. It will be easy. So one thing left. I will open Valdis board so that I will show an example for Valdis. So for now, everyone names pull requests differently, but how I want you to call those pull requests is, here you have a homework task, right? Homework 2 practice. And I have a ticket name. In here you can see that this ticket name is FAVM / not slash, but that symbol -8, right? So I want you to first of all name the pull request like this, like prefix it, just at least prefix it. So it will be, what was it, FAVM 8. like this, and then you can write whatever you want there. I will add a save. I think it is not connected here, but in real world, let me see. Will it update itself or not? We'll see after if it works with the, no, it won't, because yeah, it's in your private repositories, but in real world, if those repositories are connected to the Chile account and you prefix them with the Jira ticket name, you can see all of the branches and commits in here. So it's really easy to navigate from the ticket to the actual GitHub code, which is really, really useful in real life. That's why I want you to do this. First of all, with the pull request names, and second of all, with every commit name. So the commit name in this case would also be FAVM 8, and then the title of the commit. Okay.
Could we create a new project to make a second podcast?
Yes, because I will give you all of the description of tasks in Jira, so don't worry, you don't need to remember anything right now. But because the previous homework was Dart, and the new homework will be Flutter, so it's different projects. Okay, I just want to check that I have set everything. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we can finish with Flutter. You have a lot of digest. You will have also a lot of homework. The homework that I have not yet checked, I will check today for those who I didn't check, and give feedback also today. Tomorrow we will meet and do much more Flutter. So, and I will send you the timetable of the lessons. Okay, so this week it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
4 days?
Yes, this week it's 4 days. Because next week it will be just 2 days, because there will be a longer legal holidays. Okay. Yes. Any questions? Let's go quickly back to our goals for today and see if we managed to reach them. We know how to create and run a Flutter application, right? We can do that. We know how to upgrade the Flutter version. We have tried using all of those widgets: MaterialApp, text, container, center, row, column. Oh, center not, but okay, that's a little one, and you can use that home. Padding, size box, image, ListView, GridView. Also, we'll do this at home or tomorrow. We will see. And Scaffold, AppBar, floating action button, and space. And we also know how to combine all of those various widgets into more complex user interfaces and create our own StatelessWidgets. So even though it seems like a lot, we managed to do everything, and I know it's super overwhelming. That's completely fine. It's completely fine to struggle to not understand what is going on. You're here to learn. This is safe space to make mistakes. This is safe space to ask questions, and it will become better with practice all the time. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. I won't be able to participate tomorrow.
Yes, but I will send you the video tomorrow, and also I will write the recap for today and tomorrow, so you can just see the exact version of it if you don't want to watch the whole 4-hour session.
For example, if I won't be able to check the recording or recap tomorrow, will be somehow related to Wednesdays.
All lessons are related in general, but you will have time to catch up then on the longer days.
So, I mean, like, if there be like the application, which will like.
Oh, I will share if there's any code that you need. I will share it with you. So yeah. Да. Новую ветку. Да.
Потом ее merge с моим.
Да.
Ну ладно. Пока еще merge еще не произошел. Следующий ветку с другими знаниями делаем.
Тут вопрос. Тут на выбор. Либо ты идешь в main ветку и создаешь от нее новую ветку. Да, полностью. И в этой твоей новой ветке не будет задания с той второй ветки. Тогда ты открываешь pull request на main ветку. Но если ты от той ветки, с которой ты сделал первое домашнее задание, сделал еще одну ветку, в ней сделал второе домашнее задание, тогда pull request открываем с той ветки на, да, с предыдущей. Да, да. Да, зависит, смотри, можно правило считать таким, что если между собой pull request задания не связаны, то есть твое задание из задачи 2 не связано с задачей 1, то есть ты можешь их делать параллельно, тогда делаем это main версии. Но если они связаны между собой, например, тебе нужен код из первого задания, сделать во втором, да, тогда делаем. Мы это еще тоже, думаю, что будем проходить неоднократно с ветками. Это тоже нормально, что вот так в голове. Но вам вот с ветками и с pull-реквестами, я вам гарантирую, в будущем будет очень полезно все, что мы здесь делаем, потому что все работают через, ну, все нормальные компании работают через pull-реквесты. Это важно. Код-ревью — это очень важная часть обучения. И также делиться знаниями с командой, чтобы все были в курсе, что происходит, и для поддержки качества. Не переживайте, я вижу, что вы все в шоке. Это первые занятия. Мы первый раз сегодня потрогали Flutter, сразу сделали много всего, поэтому не ожидайте от себя каких-то там нереальных результатов. Это абсолютно нормально, что кажется, что ничего не понятно. Оно станет понятнее. Но очень-очень-очень важно будет делать домашние задания. Кубики, как лего-кубики. Я и говорю, что вот есть лего, у тебя есть маленький кусочек, это текст, маленький кусочек, это контейнер. Соединил этот маленький кусочек, получился вот еще что-то. И вот так вот все больше, больше и больше, и мы вот так вот собираем сложный юзер-интерфейс.
Paldies.
Ciao.